You know, I think about us, the three of us, what we could be. I think about it all the time.
Please. It's terrible.
No, it's not. I know June. She's my friend. I care about her. How's your day going? You look pretty.
Thanks. I wore it just for you. Her father's a driver named Nick. He helped me to survive. Yes, you can, because I can't lose you.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
What about you?
Your girlfriend is a badass.
Welcome to Above the Garage, a Nick and June, the Handmaid's Tale podcast. We have a really exciting episode today because Burton LeBlanc, the thrice Emmy-nominated head of makeup for The Handmaid's Tale, has kindly agreed to come chat with us today. Thank you and welcome, Burton.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you guys. Great to be here.
Yeah, so we know you, or we feel like we know you fairly well because we love your Instagram account, but we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Kate.
I'm Ginger.
I'm Violet.
Hello.
And I'm Kimberly.
Kimberly is the wizard behind our social media curtain. So she makes all our beautiful collages and reels, and she is allowed to talk to the important people, such as yourself.
That's something pretty new. Like, when did this first start? It's fairly recent, right?
Literally, yeah, like a month ago.
Okay.
Somebody had the genius idea to start a podcast in the middle of December when stress levels are already very low. So, but it's been awesome. We've been having fun. In fact, I wanted to tell a quick story about Kimberly relevant to you being here, if you don't mind. Kimberly, you don't mind, right?
Hopefully it's a good story then.
We'll find out soon enough. No, it was the day before Christmas Eve and we're all like super stressed. And Burton, you shared our Instagram story, which you've done several times, and it delights us every time. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Amazing. Yeah.
And I was on our like group chat, just daydreaming about maybe one day in the very distant future, he might come on our show. And Kimberly's all like, or I could just DM him right now. And I'm like, ha, 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 you're so funny, Kimberly. And then like 60 seconds later, she says, okay, I've done it.
You have to slide right into those DMs. You can't wait.
She didn't even like hover over the send button for 4 hours like a normal human being. Yeah,
just go for it. Just ask.
I know. I'm very proud of her, but I'm curious if all Australians are born without a fear of rejection, or was it just you?
Maybe in the water down here. I'm not sure. Do you want some?
Yes, I do. Also classic Kimberly. She then says, all right, I'm going to go to bed. Good night, everybody, because she lives in Australia and she sleeps all day long. And she likes to drop bombs on us before she goes.
Yeah, they had to wait a little while. Kate was freaking out a little bit. And, I thought go to bed and let her sleep on it for a while.
Not freaking out. We were all very excited. But fast forward, you said yes. You made our holidays lovely. Thank you, Burton. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking me. I like this stuff. It's fun stuff.
We were.
How were your holidays, Burton?
They were really good. I was with family, and it was great to see everybody. I don't get to see a lot of family throughout the year, so it's always great to catch up with friends and cousins and people I haven't seen for a while. So it was really good.
So you grew up in a small town in Canada, right?
I did. Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
I go to Maine with my husband's family sometimes. And like any attentive Handmaid's Tale fan, when I near the Canada border, I like to plan my escape route. I think I can take a boat from Bar Harbor to Yarmouth, right?
You can. It's been shut down for the past couple of years because of, COVID reasons. Yeah. I think it's going to be running again in a couple months, a few months. But yeah, there was a boat going back and forth, which I've never done before.
Oh, no?
So funny. I've never done it. No.
I bet there are a lot of whales in between.
There's a lot of whales around there. Yeah. Some whale watching, and yeah, it's very pretty.
And clearly Yarmouth is full of lovely people that will help me escape, right?
Totally. Yeah. If you love just, beautiful ocean, great saltwater air, great people, great hangouts, great food, restaurants, seafood, all that kind of stuff.
It sounds really nice. Yeah.
Do you live normally in New York then, Burton, or do you live?
I don't. I'm in Toronto. I've been to New York quite a bit, and I go back and forth, but I'm pretty much based here right now. I do, and I recently got my U.S. working visa, so I'll be after Handmaid soon enough, probably this summer. I'm kind of looking to be out of here.
I
I
told
have
you.
no idea why I thought
New
they
York
moved to
City
New
thing.
York. I have no idea.
Well,
like-
I think I had quite a few of my posts are from New York, maybe, and I do fly back and forth quite a bit. And I was there actually. I just did a movie with Mila Kunis there a few months back.
Oh, yeah.
What's the movie called?
Yeah.
Luckiest Girl Alive.
When does it come out?
They say spring of 22, so
Things,
whatever
yeah.
whatever that means, that might be May. But
Yeah, that's exciting.
yeah, no, it was fun. It was good. I think we started in June and then we finished September 3rd.
Nice. So you've had a nice break then.
It was good. And I did another show after that, What We Do in the Shadows. It's kind of like based on the movie. It's a TV series based on the movie from, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. They're on season 4 of that. It's like a silly vampire.
We like that show. I
It's
like
so
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Right? It's funny. It was so much fun to work on. And it just comes completely different from Handmaid. So it was just
Yeah.
that headspace where, a complete shift. And I had the best time. It was good. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Are they making everybody else quarantine? Do you know that's coming over from the US?
Well, I think they've already been here for a while, and I never even thought to ask on the Zoom meeting, but I think there still is a quarantine. I don't know if it's as long, but I think it was always more quarantine coming into Canada than it was going the other way.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I think there still is, but it's just not like the time period isn't as long.
Yeah. Well, we saw Amy and Bradley's cat had already made it up there and we were excited. We're all big
Kiki?
animal lovers. So we were like, yeah. We're like, oh, the animals are showing up now.
Well, Bradley was on the Zoom actually, so it was always. I mean, he's just a goofball. It's so good to see his face. We just want to laugh. He just makes us laugh all day.
He looks so fun. He looks like the funnest person.
He's so fun.
Yeah.
He's so fun.
And his wife, Amy, just seems like an absolute blast as well.
She's great. She's so great. She had a cameo season 2, I think.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it 3?
I think it was 3.
Okay.
She's Hannah's mom, so she may be back,
Yeah.
which would be cool.
Yeah.
Is that where they met? Do we know that? No one knows?
No, they met. I did ask the story. Oh my God, I can't remember now. They met on, oh my God, there's been so many shows that they've both done. They met on a TV show a few years back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was providing us with photos from the Emmys. Nobody was doing that except for Amy, so we appreciated it. Nice to see the whole crew together outside of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. She's really great.
Obviously, your cat is with you because you live there. What's your cat's name?
Leo.
Oh.
Probably here. I think he's
Aw.
I don't know where he went, but he was running around here somewhere. Yeah, he's always with me. Wherever I go, he goes with me too. Oh, there he is. Leo.
Aw.
He looks, you know what's so funny? Because before we started Handmaids, I didn't know Lizzie has 2 orange tabbies. I have an orange tabby, which is so weird. You know what I mean?
That is really funny. Yeah.
Like we both have orange. Anyway.
There are 1 billion types of cats, so that is funny. I also just got one. We named him Dax because he's polydactyl. He has 6 toes on each hand. So, but he looks like yours.
Does Lizzie bring her cats too?
She does. She doesn't go
Aw.
anywhere. Right? She brings her Lucy and Ethel everywhere. Yeah.
That's cute.
Lucy and Ethel, that's great.
Yeah.
Love those names. That's what they use those names in because we were just doing our rewatch of episode, I don't know, I think it was 5, but
5.
that was the name of her cats on the show, or one of them, I think. I forget.
Yeah, it was. She named them on there.
Let's see where my cat. See where Leo went.
Yeah, where's Leo? Come on, Leo.
Oh, you know what? He's right here. He's right here. He's in the chair right next to me. Not too far. See if I can grab him.
This is exciting.
I know.
Like on the
This is
edge
your
of my
favorite
seat.
part of the interview, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
There
my
he is.
God. Hey, Leo, baby.
Aw.
Daddy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
How old is Leo?
Leo will be 8 in April.
Look at that
Aw.
face. He is
Have you had him
so
since he
cute.
was a baby?
Handsome boy. Yeah, I have.
He's so handsome. Oh my gosh.
He looks
Does
so
like-
cuddly.
Does he sleep with you?
He does.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a big baby.
Love that.
Yeah.
I have 2 orange tabbies as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Why don't you
They're
ask
both
her-
girls, which is super weird. Like, I guess orange tabbies are usually boys.
I
That's
think
what
so.
the vet told me, but I
Yeah, I
know
think
Lizzie's are
that's true.
girls too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Ask Violet how many cats she has though.
I have 6 cats.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there any amount that you found that got tougher? Because sometimes I think of getting another cat for Leo, but I travel so much, so I don't think I will. But Is there like a grouping that it gets easier or not as easy?
Well, one of them is a mom of two of the others.
Right.
So the three of them, it's like a totally different thing. Like they just cuddle with each other all the time. And it's just, they're like a little family. But yeah, we didn't mean to have 6 cats. They ended up getting left at our house one at a time. And so now we need to open a cat cafe out of our house, basically.
Yeah, should.
But yeah, I think like 2 was sort of the maybe 2 or 3 was like the nice, like, okay,
Yeah.
they all got along, and now we have to look out for fights and cover their claws with the little soft caps so they don't kill each other.
She literally has these claw covers on all of her cat's claws. So like 60 claw covers in her house. I can't even imagine putting 10 of them. I can't imagine putting them on my
And they
cat.
leave them on or do they stay on? How does that work?
Yeah, they're like, they cover the claws. It's like a little plastic thing that goes over the claw, so it's not sharp. So that way they can't hurt each other if they get in a fight.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's a whole
lot of
process.
work. That's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, our lives revolve around cats now also.
Anyway,
Well, when I first started trimming Leo, because I trim his nails myself in the beginning. There's probably a picture on Instagram about that.
Oh,
It's really tough, you know what I mean? And you have to cut
yeah.
mhm.
now.
Mm.
Very docile, but
Takes them a while to get used to that, I think.
So Burton, have you had a lot of downtime to stream anything good? Stream any new shows or besides The Handmaid's Tale, of course?
you know what? I'm so bad for that. Like, when I talk to friends and I'm with friends, like, do you see this? Do you see that? I'm like, I really don't, my big thing is, I'm a big gym guy. Like it's a mental thing. I like the gym and I think after next week, the gym's opening again. Thank God.
Nice.
I like being out. I'm an outdoorsy guy, but I don't really watch a lot of stuff, really.
It's a good thing. That's
You just
good.
work on the stuff.
I mean, whatever I'm working on, then I'm into it and I'll watch all that. I'll watch all that,
Mhm.
inside out so I know it, but that's about it.
Are you
How do
a
you-
weights or cardio guy at the gym?
I kind of do both. I don't go anything crazy with like too much of weights or too much of cardio, but I just do like 20 minutes of cardio and light weights and like a mix of everything, basically.
I have to
Well,
imagine.
you look like you're in good shape, so it's working.
I have to imagine your days on the Handmaid's Tale set though, like must be really long. Are you like on Lizzie's scenes all day?
If Lizzie's there, I don't move. So, and she's always there. So,
Right.
getting back to the gym.
That's what I was wondering. How do you work out?
Well, I don't. Once I start the show, I don't. So that's why like the last show I did, I had a lot of extra time. But when on Handmaids, I won't have the time.
Yeah.
And past month or the past few weeks after the holidays, I had all this time, but the gyms are now closed in Toronto. That's why I was like, I try to go because I know once I start Handmaids, it's going to be like Saturday, Sunday kind of thing.
Do you notice a big difference in how you feel, or is the adrenaline of being on an awesome show just drive you?
Absolutely. No, it's really, I feel it's like I feel so much better when I'm working out.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling, man.
It's a huge difference.
Oh, I had one question for my fellow panelists, actually, before I forget. How much extra time did you spend on your makeup this morning versus a normal Zoom with me?
A few more minutes.
Yeah. I don't think you've ever seen me wearing makeup until right now.
No, your hair is always wet, usually.
Honestly. Yeah, I just get out of the shower and pop on here. Yeah.
All right.
It's so hot here, my makeup is melting off.
Yeah, she lives in Perth and it's apparently like 100. It was 105 for Christmas, right, Kimberly?
No, it was like 109 or something for Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy to me that that's their Christmas. It's always hot.
That's so crazy. But I like a little bit of heat right now because it's so freaking cold here.
Yeah,
I'll swap some with you and then we can make the perfect temperature.
Yeah.
So I think Kimberly ran the idea by you to play a little game that we came up with for you.
Yeah.
You're still down?
I'm still down. Let's do it.
All right. So eyebrow game for Burton LeBlanc. For our podcast listeners, we know you can't see this game, so let me just tell you what it's about. We made a PowerPoint for Burton to try and guess the Handmaid's Tale character just using their eyebrows. So the first slide for each character is just their eyebrows, and then the second slide is their eyebrows and eyes, if you need another hint. And then the third slide for each character is their full face. So the answer. And he kindly agreed to play along. So let's get started. Shout out to my husband who did the rough draft of this on a day when I was too busy to get to it. It didn't look anything like this, but I still appreciate the effort. And to Melissa, who provided all these amazing photos for me, because she can find anything on the internet. So the game rules are self-evident. Yeah.
Fairly simple.
Yeah.
This is the actors outside of work, right?
No,
I mean, like,
it's
could be
the
any
characters. So the first
But
one.
this first one is very difficult. I'm unsure if you will get it. And if you do, we'll all give you a massive round of applause.
Okay, here we go.
This
Right.
one here, this is Max.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have to groom Max's eyebrows at all? Those are pretty bushy and like pretty thick.
Not really. We don't really do anything with his eyebrows. No, we just let him be. And his hair as
Let
well,
him,
kind of
yeah.
like, it's just a little bit, that's just his look.
Good
He's
luck.
pretty- so great.
Good
yeah.
luck.
We got no complaints about his look.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Well, the shape looks like Serena Joyce, but I don't.
You might also focus on the skin color. Would you like to see the eyes?
Let's do more. Yeah.
You almost said it with the word more.
Yeah.
I'm. Oh my God! I'm thinking of her real name. I know who it is, but I can't.
Okay, you got it.
Moira.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's very done there. Actually, she's in the Handmaid's costume. That must have been like a publicity photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Lydia.
recognize it either.
Lydia.
Yes, that's Aunt Lydia. Well done.
Yeah.
Can't forget those.
Yeah. Wow. That must be Commander Waterford.
Yes, nicely
Yes.
done. Like you don't even, I think, necessarily work on most of these people yourself, right? So it's,
Well, Commander Waterford is all me. Like
yeah,
all
that one, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll have like a few select, obviously Lizzie, Commander Waterford, and Commander Lawrence Bradley. But now I'm really gonna miss Joe this year, but
I know. Are you getting a new character?
nobody right now to fill his place, but we've
Yeah.
only gotten the first couple of scripts, but
Mhm.
he that's a big void. It's big
huge.
void.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
interesting listening to his interviews though, of like how much it weighed on him playing that character.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. And it's been weighing on him for a few years. Like he was like, oh, I don't know how much, it was a lot. Like to keep
Yeah.
doing that. So it was time, even though it was a hard call.
But
And
it's
yeah,
still
I
super
love that
sad.
character. It is sad.
Love to hate him, that's for sure.
I
Yeah. He and his brother, right? His brother plays Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're very good at it. They're very good.
I
at
don't think
villains.
he has eyebrows as Voldemort though, does he?
I don't know. He doesn't have a nose. I think he's missing a nose.
Yeah, true.
I think this one is Janine, I think.
Yes, nicely done.
Luke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
T.
Oh, there's Serena.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Is
would.
that June?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
For a
legitimately
minute,
forgotten
I
that.
really filled in. I was looking, it's like, wow, did I fill on those eyebrows in that much?
This is a tough one.
It's not Rita.
We're all very amused over here, Burton.
This is a tough one.
It is.
Well,
I mean, I don't know how often you even look at these eyebrows.
You might look at them every morning in the mirror.
oh, is that me?
Yeah.
What is it? As I can see the top of the glasses.
Here's
out
the
there.
glasses, yeah. My husband swears there's not a single picture of you on the internet without glasses. Sorry for tricking you.
That was at the Emmys actually in September.
Oh yeah? It's such a
time.
good photo. What is your skincare? You look amazing in every photo.
I use Kiehl's, Dermalogica. I like to use scrubs, and I have a dermatologist that I've had in Toronto for years. That I go to. I mean, like for peels and
Yeah.
you know what I mean, everything. Just so I'm ready when the time comes.
Do you
You
ever
look very good.
do you ever like wear makeup to like Emmys and
I
things?
do.
How
At
does
least
that
too.
work?
Like I've got stuff underneath my eyes there. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
here, just to kind of help me out a bit because But yeah, just around the eye. Everything else, that's all me.
No, you're
And
very
I had
handsome.
a bit of a tan. Like there was a great pool here at this hotel. So for a couple of days we were like tanning by the pool. So this is a bit of a tan here too.
And you got a little like, do you have the exact amount of stubble that you plan for here?
Yeah. want
it,
a little
looks,
bit more.
it looks perfect. I grew up with a bunch of in a neighborhood that was predominantly boys, and so I never learned makeup.
Yeah.
And as a result, this entire podcast is just an elaborate scheme for someone to tell me how to cover up my under eye circles. Any advice there?
I don't see any under eyes. What do you mean?
Oh, they're bad because I'm allergic to my pets, but it's worth it because I love my pets. So
Yeah.
well, thank you then. Okay, on we go. Who is this?
Ooh.
Even I've forgotten who this is.
I know.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Can I get a hint? You want to tell me what
do.
group that they're in? Yeah, tell me what group. I'm really good.
Handmaids.
And we had Janine already, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is somebody
She's in Canada.
She is now in Canada. That's pretty good.
in Canada. That
She
one's
broke
hard.
free from Gilead.
Oh, Emily.
Yeah. Emily.
Yeah. When you
How
show
do you-
her eyes, you definitely know it's her. She's got such
Yeah.
nice eyes.
How do you
Yeah.
guys make their eyes so blue? Like June's and Emily's are always just like stunning.
Yeah. Well, I do think that the tone and the coloring that we use for the darkness, there's just like some if it's a warm tone or a cool tone, sometimes that'll pull out the certain eye colors as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's more of a
Yeah.
cool
I
tone.
mean, I don't understand what you're saying, but I think that it's stunning. Like I said, keep up with
Yeah.
the good work.
She's great. She's still looking a bit rough because she's got a long ways to go mentally to kind of
Yes.
get out of that. Oh, there's Rita. That's Rita.
Oh, you got that one very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you like the longer they're in Canada, the better their makeup.
Well, it just depends. Like for Lizzie, she's not quite there yet. Obviously, she's gone. She's still dealing with so
Yeah,
much.
a lot.
But it just depends on the character. Like Samira Moira is kind of has been there, so she's kind of looking a little bit nicer. Just basic, pretty makeup.
Mhm.
Rita's probably going to be coming around soonish. She's still not. Her makeup still hasn't improved really that much. But so we just take it, and it's kind of nice to see not everybody nice and perfect and pretty.
Yeah.
Watch it that way. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Do they get really excited though when you've announced
Yeah.
that they have
Oh yeah.
emotionally
that's
recovered
something that
enough
they-
to wear makeup?
That's one thing they were all like really hesitant. I still remember the first season, the very first episode, they were all kind of like, for the most part,
Yeah.
Lizzie knew that's how, it was going to be played out. But some of them, like the players below, like were kind of really hesitant. It's like, is this it? Is this all I'm getting? Once you're done. They were really, it was a thing. It was a thing. For
Was it?
people.
Well, you're used to, I'm sure they're used to getting, a lot of makeup on every other show that they've been on, but it makes sense in Gilead.
It was scary, but in the beginning at work, because you don't really know how everything's going to, how people are going to react and how people are going to, react to the show. But it was just a thing. It's like, no, this is how it's going to be.
It's awesome. We only have 2 more, so.
Is that Commander Lawrence?
Yes. I was hoping his glasses would kind of blend into his eyebrows.
It's so funny. 'Cause I thought at first I didn't think it was him because his eyebrows look so dark there. Because he's got a lot of gray coming in now. He's great.
He
Love Bradley.
He's a very dapper gentleman.
Yes.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, so great.
This one might be a bit more difficult.
It's a tough one, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Do I get a hint?
It's the
This
last
is-
one too. She is a handmaid,
She's a handmaid. Mm.
or was a handmaid.
Yeah. As
Oh no.
far as we know, she won't be in season 5.
Unless she comes back from the dead.
So they were in season 4, or was it way back? Is it
No, they were in season 4. There was an unfortunate accident.
Oh my God, who died? I can't remember who died. We finished last March already.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of her name right
We
now.
know you know. We know you know now.
From the train. They're here by the train.
Alma, may she rest in
Alma.
peace.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's fantastic too. She's a great girl. She's so great. She's
Seems so
fun.
nice.
Yeah.
That was a very tough episode. There were a lot of people that we care about that died in that episode. So
Yeah.
we will miss them. Thank you for playing. We appreciate that.
You did very well.
You did.
Yeah.
If you have listened to our show before, you are probably aware that there are several members in our group and they're located all across the world. And Burton has kindly agreed to take a question from each of our friends. So we are going to travel the world a little bit here. And actually the first question looks like it's going to be from Ginger, who is right here with us. But we're going to start that segment now.
So Burton, as the head makeup artist, what is your process like? I'm assuming you get the scripts in advance, and do you work with Bruce or Lizzie or the director or whoever to figure out what the vision is going to be for the season or the episode?
It all depends. So right now I've got the first 3 scripts. So I've read I try not to go too far ahead because I just like to focus.
Yeah.
So we're shooting kind of the first 2 episodes initially. So I have to know the first 2 inside and out. So it's really me and Lizzie and some of the key players. If they have something going on or something interesting or different, then I'll kind of talk to them. Maybe they have an idea about where they want their character, what they want to have done differently. So, but I have my own vision and they trust me now. And we go with that, but also conversations like a little bit with different people, in particular Lizzie.
I mean, it must get easier now that it's season 5 and obviously everybody knows each other so well. So
It's definitely easier. I mean, season one was just kind of tricky. I mean, I have a soft spot for season 1 because that's where we established everybody. So that's kind of my favorite season because of that.
Yeah.
But it's easier now. In season 2, I found too a little bit nerve-wracking because just after season 1 and it did so well, you're like, oh my God, all this pressure, right? But after season 2 is done, then I could relax a little bit, if that makes sense. And it gets a little bit better. So it's definitely better now than it was in the beginning, as far as just being able to, just breathe a little bit and relax to kind of know that whatever you're going to do, it's going to be good.
well, it seems like it's such a fun cast too. Like, are they all as fun as they seem?
They're great. They're really great. And you know what? They're all there. They're all like really talented actors and actresses, and they're there to do really good work. And when you have that focus, you can joke around and carry on a little bit, and it's not they're not there for publicity. They're not there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a different way. So everything else is kind of relaxed behind the scenes.
I think that comes across though. Like, you can tell it's very cohesive. You can tell they really like each other, which makes a difference.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's really great behind the camera, behind the scenes.
All right. So I'm going to pull Marigold over here for her question.
Hi, Burton.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Marigold. So I wanted to ask you, what music do you typically have playing in the makeup trailer? Does it vary depending on who is in the trailer that day, or do you have a pretty consistent rotation of music? I've heard that the cast and maybe some of the crew are big Taylor Swift fans. So
we got it's anything and everything. We kind of have like a setup in the trailer, whatever somebody wants to play something. It's funny when Janine comes in, she'll play. She likes to listen to "Let It Go." I laugh at. She'll say, "Thank you." So I know what she likes. So I'll play as she's coming in. She sits in Alistair's chairs, and we'll play that. And it just gets them to unwind before they have to go on all the serious of the set, right? So it just depends. It varies. So it's all over the place.
And is Janine a good singer? Does she sing "Let It Go" as well?
She is. Oh, she just goes for it. She's belting it out down there. We blare that, and she likes,
She lets loose.
She lets loose.
I went ahead and brought Melissa over from Argentina. She got me all the good photos for the PowerPoint. So go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, Burton.
Hi.
How are you? I'm Melissa. And my questions, bear in mind that each season finale is immediately continued into the following season. How do you organize with the makeup team to continue the previous makeup?
You know what? Lots of photos. It's really about having really great digital continuity, lots of photos, and then handwritten notes, which are attached to all the files. And, it's really, you got to really stay on that because it's really hard because everything's got to be exact. And all of the characters have to match up. And I don't do everybody, I don't do all the characters. So whoever else is doing them, then I'll take a final look at the end to make sure, my eye doesn't catch something that's not supposed to be there. But it's tricky. A lot of notes and a lot of pictures, basically. That's about it. But it's tough. And last year with COVID, it was even, it was tougher because we kind of shut down. We started in March and then we were kind of in between the first 3 episodes and then we came back in September. And then the weather changed as well, which is a big deal because you're not really thinking because, makeup reacts differently in cold than it does in heat. So the temperature in March and September was different. So it was, it's really tricky. And then you have the mask, Lizzie's got blood here, right? You've got the mask.
Yeah.
We need that extra time. It was tough. And it is tough. It's still going to be like that with the masking, but especially with blood. I mean, the first episode last year, she had all this blood, so it would come off. But luckily, they know me and I think they respect me enough that I'm like, you know what? I need this time. So, it wasn't easy. We get through it.
They looked awesome.
So funny that first episode, Pigs, episode 401, was the one I put forward for the Emmys, and it got nominated. So as tough as it was, then
It was worth it. It was
A
incredible.
lot of
Like,
blood.
the hand and all of it. It was such a good episode. All right.
Thank you.
So now we are going to invite Julia from Germany. And also
We're going across the world.
We're traveling.
I love that.
She is the one that drew our logo, which is beautiful. And we're very appreciative of her talent. Julia, welcome.
Hi, Burton.
Hey.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
So, of course, we can see all the passion and work you put in, like in the show and other movies and films on screen. But I was wondering if there's something in your work routine you're not particularly enjoying doing, or maybe not dreading, but not really fond of.
I think, you know what? I think it's when we have to be outside when it's -20, when we have to do some really intense, amazing scenes. And there's been a few with Lizzie where she's such a trooper. I mean, a lot of them, I don't even know how they do it, with really no clothes, hardly any clothes on, something really like really nothing. And they're out with, -20. Once again, it's hard to do your job. The makeup, it's not going to stick right. You can't like blend, you can't move it around because it's so cold. Or they start, when you start tearing when it gets really cold, and then you all these streaky tears, right? So I think it's when it's really cold and we have to be outside with them, all day for 15 hours, 16 hours. I mean, we get breaks and we don't have to be out there the whole time, but I think it's probably that, to be out in the cold elements. The summer is not so bad, but the winter, where we do a lot of handmade scenes, as you can see, is not easy. Yeah.
Wasn't episode 9 very cold too for season 4, when Nick and June were meeting outside of the school?
Yes. Yeah, good one. I could still visually. Yeah, that was really, really cold. You could probably see it on their breath, right? That was really cold. Yeah, that was a great scene. That's good.
What does makeup do in the cold? Like that cold, does it just not move? Does it?
It just doesn't move. And people tend to tear. Your eyes tend to water and tear. And when the camera goes in really tight, you actually do see kind of like streaking coming down, which you can't.
Yeah.
So it's just constant running in. And here's the other thing too, people don't realize with the snow, we've got certain paths where the actors are kind of, especially once the camera gets closer to the actors, it's not so bad because you can't see the snow that they've walked on. But we can't have all the crew making tracks in all the snow all around the cast.
That's really interesting.
So we have to like go where they turn around, and we can't, then we have to like back or they have to come out and we do it. So it's tough.
Wow.
A blanket of snow, and that's got to stay the way that you see it from a distance. You see that nice, people don't think about those little things, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have been filming in the winter for so long now. Like, I think that if COVID hadn't happened, maybe you would have had a warmer season, and then COVID happened. And...
Well, that was the big thing last year. We're like, we're going to shoot in the summer last year of 2020, and then COVID. It's like, so this year it's kind of nice, even though, we start shooting February 7th, but we will have like 2 months of really cold, and then we'll have that nice weather.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we've had that. So
we'll enjoy it.
It's gonna be nice.
And what's it like doing makeup when it's like sweltering hot outside? Have you been in one of those conditions compared to the cold?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same but different. I mean, it's just a constant. It just, the makeup literally will just kind of slide off. Layer of sweat and oil. It just everything slides off. So that's not easy either. Or people tend to get really red. So, and you maybe want to try to counteract that red, which is bad too, because then you don't want to add too much makeup. It's a constant fight. It's not easy either. It's got to be like that nice spring fall weather. That's ideal.
Perfect weather.
When does that happen?
Go to San Diego. Only do shows in San Diego.
Yeah.
All right. We have Rachel from New Mexico.
Hi, Burton. I'm Rachel. Thank you so much for taking my question. What I've been curious about is if you have to change or adjust your makeup techniques at all for characters on The Handmaid's Tale who, by Gilead law, are not allowed to wear makeup. And we see so many close-ups of faces, especially June's. So I was just curious if bare skin is ever an option for characters like that, or do you have to work a certain way to make it look as natural as possible?
Some of them do have just bare skin, like almost nothing. I mean, they might not have anything in their skin, but they might have a little tweak in their eyebrow or something under their eye. But some of them are just completely bare, and it will work on camera.
Right.
Like just be like a really nice. It just depends. Is it going to be outside? Will it be indoors? Where the lighting, you know what I mean? Your skin is going to look different. It might show up better in one or the other. So we kind of just have to be prepared. Like if somebody's doing a character, one of my people on my team, I'll just say, just bring whatever you need with you on set and see how they look. And there's always a little time for a little tweak or a little adjustment that we need to add or take away. But sometimes they aren't wearing, just depends on the light. The light is a huge thing.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I was curious if that was what, like, lighting would require some amount of makeup, but you're not supposed to, like, they're not supposed to look like they're wearing anything. So that's very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I mean, getting back to that too, it's an ongoing thing where there's always a little tweaking. Like they'll leave the trailer and I say, well, I'm not sure about that. You know, we'll just be prepared to do a little tweaking on set. And then even if it's not my character, I'm there on set watching behind the monitor to make sure on camera that they look the way they should and we don't see anything. So that's always tweaking. It's last minute tweaking, really.
Awesome.
So you're always there watching.
I'm always there. I don't, yeah. You're like, oh, you can
Don't
relax.
get a break.
This is not on camera. This is not camera. You can relax. I get that from whoever, different people. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, can't relax? I've got other characters to watch. I've got.
It sounds exhausting, but awesome. It pays off. So now we have Sarah from Finland.
Hi, Burton.
Hi.
So great to have you here. So here's my question. Whose makeup or what type of makeup in The Handmaid's Tale is the hardest to do?
Oh, the hardest. That's a tricky question because generally they're all pretty good. They all have different things going on with their makeup. It just depends on if somebody's been in a scuffle or had a punch to the face. So I don't know if anybody's been more difficult.
Does Janine's eye take much work? It would do, wouldn't it?
It did. I mean, it's better now because she's got the eye patch, but I think her character has gone in and out so many times with flashbacks and last year especially she got a lot of airtime, which was so great for her. We're so happy for her that she got a lot of backstory. But that was a tricky thing to get right in the very beginning. And that was adjusted quite a bit, season 1, 2, and 3, because in the beginning it was, we were still sometimes it doesn't look quite exactly right the very, very beginning, and then you tweak it and then it becomes better. So I don't know if there's anybody that's the most difficult. I think they're all equal, really, with tweaking. Is there anybody that you think that might be difficult or not difficult? Is there any characters that stand out for you guys for that?
The only one I could think of was Janine's eye. Like I was wondering how much work that would take when it's not got the.
I mean, that's like an hour to put the eye on. And it's just blending into her own skin and skin tone. So yeah, that was a tricky one.
Yeah, I would think it'd be more situational because, like, obviously, when the beginning of season 4, when June was all bloody, like, I would think that's more difficult than just typical, her regular face.
Yeah. Well, with June and Lizzie, because there's sometimes getting back to 401, 402, 403 with all the blood, and then when she was on the farm, even though she was still sickly looking, she didn't have all the blood. So I mean, the blood is really tricky because you've got to match it up. I mean, every day, and then she's wearing that blood 2, 3, 4 days, maybe 2 weeks, the same blood, right? And it does move because it's real life, and certain things kind of move around. So you have that little bit of playroom, but blood is the tricky. Sometimes you see blood. That's the when the guy got killed next to her last season and the blood on her side of her face. That was a tricky scene.
Oh, I wondered about that.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was tricky, and because there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and when they're shooting the prop next to her with the stuff in it, does it always go perfectly on the face? No. It might go here, and it might, so basically you got to make sure, and we know where we want it to go, but it doesn't necessarily, it wasn't going off at full tilt the way it should have gone. So it was just a little splatter. I was like, oh. we had to really, that was really tricky, but in the end it looked great. But I remember the director at the time getting frustrated because it some things don't go as planned. So it's
Right.
not easy.
To get the splatter, do you have to go all Dexter on it?
I was thinking Dexter too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It did splatter. I remember when it first went off, it did splatter, but it was like too light almost for camera. Like it needed to be chunkier because I mean the guy's brains are being blown out right next to it.
Yeah.
So it was just little kind of splat. It just wasn't coming out of the gun. And even though there's testing before, you know, weeks before with the gun on whoever else, they test it out. Everything goes well, but you do it on set on the day on the person. You know, things might happen.
How does that work with special effects versus like makeup? I'm sure you're involved in that, like in making it look right the way it's going to come out, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, in the beginning, they'll do testing, you know, in the studio, the guys, special effects guys will do it like on a prop dummy or something. And then I'll see what they have. They'll send everything to me, the videos and whatever needs to be. And I'll say, well, what about this? So we'll that's all planned out. So everybody's happy. The director sees it. The actor will see it. But I remember when Lizzie, when she was running through the woods, the end of season 3, remember the guy gets shot next to her as well.
Yep.
Remember that night? That was really tricky too. It was really cold that night. And it just wasn't, it was supposed to land. And all of a sudden it's messy and blood stains, right? So it's really tricky and nobody wants to wait around in the freezing cold weather. But it's supposed to be all planned out, which it normally is. But sometimes on the day, it just doesn't go as planned. So it's not an easy thing. But in the end, you know, do what you got to do and you get it done.
Yeah.
All right. Wanda is up next.
Hi, Burton.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming today. The panel's questions have been fairly easy. Would you agree this morning?
Yeah. Is the hard one coming?
Yeah, this is where it gets difficult. This may be the hardest question you've ever been asked in your entire career. And please forgive me if I'm getting too personal, but I need to know. Are you a Nick and June shipper?
You know what? I have a soft spot for OT and Luke. So I don't know. I know everybody's, I know the deal, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know.
Okay.
Fair enough. We are disappointed, but that's fair.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome.
Claudia from Austria.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this and nice to meet you.
You too.
I'm doing 2 questions from 2 members of our podcast that couldn't be on today. So the first one is from Tina. The way you use makeup to show stress or aging on the show is extraordinary. With the men, for example, I've seen you talk all about how you use their beards to show how the time in Gilead weighs on them. So Fred's beard got more gray in it over time and it got more unkempt, which is brilliant. But I wonder, with a character like Nick, who doesn't have facial hair, what other ways you use makeup to show that same effect on him?
Well, Nick, he's kind of going through his own thing, but Nick has always got this brooding thing going on. He's always you never quite know what he's up to. And that's all part of his character and part of the plan. Like what is he up to or what is he? So you're not quite supposed to know. So in one way, visually, you don't see a lot of changes with him. You don't see, because we're not really supposed to, he's kind of hiding behind this kind of mask. Even though he doesn't wear a lot of makeup, he has great skincare and he's got a little bit of something makeup. So his character is supposed to be in that zone. So it works out for him in that way.
Does he have a similar skincare routine to you, Ben?
Yeah. What does he have? You know what? Alistair, my key makeup, does his makeup. I'm not sure what he uses actually for skincare. You know what? Nick is really great, but he's always got this brooding thing going on. That's him. That's kind of him too when he comes in. He's got this cool just vibe kind of thing going on all the time. But he's great. He's great.
All right. And the second question is from Didi. How do you create blood and sweat and make it so realistic? Specifically, the sweat droplets on Lizzie's back in season 2, episode 2, and the blood when she was almost dying in the garden in season 2, episode 5.
Well, there's a great blood company called Fleet Street Blood Works. So there's different variations. There's like a light and a dark blood. So I like to mix them because it just gives a lot more dimension to what you're seeing on camera, right? You just do a light, I kind of build up layers. So it just makes it look more realistic and gives it more depth. So the sweat also, once again, it's really building it up. It's really lots of water and make sure the droplets are all like perfect. But getting back to the heat and the cold, it's really tough. But actually the cold helps with that in that regard, and probably helped in that scene as well, because it'll hold. Like it doesn't run down if it's hot. It'll just kind of like work its way right off. But it'll kind of like, you can place it almost. You can spray it and just kind of will hold the droplets in those spots because the skin is so cold.
So it's mainly water?
Mainly water. And some glycerin. There's glycerin in there as well. And Egyptian magic.
Oh,
which is like a natural shea butter kind of thing. I use that one a lot actually on Instagram. You probably see Egyptian magic. But it's
that's that big white like pot, right?
Yeah. And it's all natural and it's basically shea butter. But on camera, it's like a beautiful sheen. And I use that one a lot. And it's natural. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to make anybody break out. And
yeah.
So the Egyptian magic.
Thank you.
I'll grab some.
So I was just wondering, we kind of talked about this a little bit with the tears, but on location touch-ups, like I guess that's probably the main thing that you're doing is constantly running in and touching things up, particularly if somebody like has a crying scene like with Lizzie. She has a lot of those like on the bridge scene. And is it something where every take you have to come in and make a bunch of touch-ups?
It depends on the scene. It depends on like the elements can sometimes help or not, like I was saying before. But I think the only time, the thing that stands out with the question you're asking, when she was in the hospital, when the handmaid there was dying in the hospital bed, episode 9303, I think. That's one scene. I mean, there's been a few of that stands out. I was running in basically every take. It was really, there were so many close-ups with her eyes, so constantly running in because the camera was so close. And sometimes I could see makeup. So I'd be like running, and like if I have to run in, they'll see me like running in literally, and it's just constant. So some scenes are like that. You constantly have to go in, but it's really like sometimes if they're wider shots, I get to relax a little bit. But when they get the close-ups like this, I'm right there behind the monitors with the director of photography, and I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, are you okay with that? I'm like, I got to run in, I got to tweak this, so it's a constant thing, especially when the camera goes tight.
Which is not often in this show, right?
Yeah, she cries, like snap your fingers and she can cry, right? I mean, it seems like she just can turn that on and off really easily.
She can. I mean, she can be like laughing for a minute and joking around, and all of a sudden the camera's on her, and then she's in that zone. Like,
amazing.
Yeah, that's incrable.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Does some actors have to use something put in their eye when they cry?
Drops or something.
They do. Actually, OT Luke does that. He likes his tear stick. He's great. I love him. He had this. There's a little tear stick.
What does a tear stick mean? Like, what does it look like? What does it do?
It's like a little. I wish I had one here. Actually, it's a little menthol stick. So it's menthol. Menthol.
Wow.
We usually put it like maybe like in their fingernail here. So they can put a little, and it's clear, so you can't really see it. And they'll within the scene, and then maybe the camera. They know where the camera's going to be.
Yeah.
Then they'll kind of like we'll do a little bit under here, or they'll have a bit on their finger just to kind of help, and they can place it when.
That's so interesting. I had no idea.
Like activates the tear ducts, kind of. Is that the process?
But
That's cool.
It's a very tricky thing. They've got to practice. If somebody's not used to it, they've got to practice. Kind of, it's best to practice because you could do too much, and if you do too much, basically
you can't see.
Very uncomfortable.
So they've got to be. We had to check that out and kind of do it now. We're going to see how you react to it. So that's all going to be worked out before.
Yeah.
Do you guys typically do a lot of takes like with each scene, or is there some times where it's like the first one and you're like, that's it, we got it?
I don't think it's ever been the first one, but it might be the first one where the directors, just for safety, something might show up later. So they'll do, it's usually 3, and that's usually like the smaller amount. I would say typically 5, 6, and sometimes if it's a tricky shot, way more, but maybe 5-ish. Yeah, but sometimes they'll use the first one, but they won't stop with the first one, just in case they need something showed up somewhere. They'll do more than one.
We had another question from a friend, Megan, who wasn't able to be here today, so I was going to ask that on her behalf. She just wanted to know what scene so far from all 4 seasons was the most challenging for you.
I think that, like I said before, the challenging parts are when it's really freezing cold and dealing with the elements.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think season one, I love season one only because that was the beginning of establishing everybody. So I think for me, it was really like a lot of highs for me dealing with Lizzie and what I would see on camera and what she would bring to camera with her acting and then my makeup. That's where I have this kind of, I just have a huge soft spot for season one where I love that. Especially when she was locked in her room there for a few weeks, then she wrote
Yeah.
You know, all that sequence in there. And that's the first time we really saw her kind of like falling, you know, everything was beautiful in her face. And I have a huge soft spot for that scene in particular, those scenes there.
Yeah, the lighting and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were the bruises and things on her hands, was that tricky to do? I guess it was more blood on her hands and that, but.
Well, she did have a little bandage on her fingernail because she was kind of like trying to see out the window when she was trying to close the shutter or something. So she had something on her. It was like a broken apart skin that I could do something on. So that was a little bit tricky. So I would practice on myself to make sure I get it right before I put it on her. But I was really happy with that.
Yeah, it looked great.
Did you meet Lizzie when you started the show? Like you didn't know her before?
I didn't know her.
That's awesome.
No, I worked on a show, a pilot show. I can't even remember what it was, a couple years prior. And then there was a producer on that show that was going to be on Handmaids. And he just reached out to me and said, "Oh, I've got this show and I'll send you the script." And when he sent me the script, I was like, oh my God, like some things you get, you read script and you're like, oh, well, okay, it's work. Or when I had this, like, I really, and competition's tough. You even hear, wherever you are, but I like really wanted it. Like, I need to get this show. So I was like, no, I need to get this one.
That's awesome.
So it seems like everybody knew it was going to be special. It sounds like.
Yeah, and you felt that electricity too. You felt it when you were working on it at the beginning, even before anything was airing. People were picking up on things, reporters and journalists. And you kind of knew, you felt it. You felt something.
That's cool.
So that producer hooked me up with Lizzie and said, well, I'll get you on the phone with her, which he did, I think the next day. And then Lizzie and I talked for maybe, 10 minutes. And then I talked to him after. I said, well, do you need me to come in? I'll come in and talk to the producers. And he's like, oh, no need. It's that you got it. Lizzie loved you. And, you
That's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Like, yes.
Well done.
You have to show like your portfolio, I guess.
Well, you know what? That's a given. Like they would have checked. They would have checked all my stuff. They would have checked my resume, my pictures, all that.
But at that point, it was just a personality thing.
But yeah, but Lizzie, we just talked about how I like to work and what she wanted for the character and what I thought it should be. And yeah, it went well. And thank God.
That's awesome. Now we have Scarlett from Puerto Rico.
Hi, Burton.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time to do this. This is my question. Elizabeth Moss is a phenomenal actress, and she perfectly portrays June's emotions on her face, highlighted by your amazing talent and makeup. During season 4, we get to see June's journey to freedom. And we quickly realize that even though she's technically free, she doesn't feel free at all. She looks really deteriorated, tired, angry, and we see the toll that her emotional and physical trauma has taken on her. It was amazing for me to see the obvious contrast and change in June in episode 4-9 when she goes to see Nick. It's the first time we probably see her happy. What were you trying to transmit to us through June's makeup throughout season 4, and why did you choose to make June look so different during her meeting with Nick in 4-9?
Well, she hadn't seen Nick for a while, and that was such a beautiful, touching moment and a beautiful scene where I didn't actually do a lot extra with her. I think she had a little bit of extra lip balm, so her lips gave her a little bit of, on our cameras, you don't have to do too much, but a little bit of something. So she just looked like she was soft, I guess, a little bit pretty. And it was like such a touching moment and a beautiful scene between the two of them. So the viewers needed to see that. But for the whole season, it was just, what was the point you were saying about the other stuff?
She looked very, she looks very beat up. Obviously, she's carrying a lot of trauma. And in certain scenes, it was very specific. Like in her testimony, she looks still raw, but she doesn't look as clean as 4-9. Like as refreshed, I guess.
Yeah, and season 4 was kind of all over the place. I mean, she started off really rough looking, and then she was really, the blood was gone, but she was still really sickly. And then she went to Canada on the boat. She still had that remnants of bruising. I mean, there was a lot, which was really great and fun for me, but she was kind of all over the place. But it was just important, and there's certain moments where there's certain scenes coming up where it's like, we need to soften her and make her, like, it was a really beautiful, touching scene where she shouldn't look so hard and rough, just in that moment where it was very emotional and very touching between the two of them.
Thank you.
That scene was in incredibly cold weather as well. So
Freezing cold, so cold. Yeah, so cold.
So I just had 2 scene questions I was curious about. So the bridge scene with Nick, it seemed very wedding imagery-ish. Was that an actual discussion or just an amazing coincidence?
I don't know what the discussion was between them, probably between Lizzie and the director. I can't remember who directed that one. She
did.
Lizzie
She
did.
did.
Yeah.
Lizzie and Lizzie.
That's exactly what Lizzie wanted. Whatever you saw, that's what she wanted. That's right. She did the first 2 and she did 9. Yeah. That's what I wrote that. I don't know if that was planned, but it's exactly what happened. That's what she wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly what she wanted to convey.
And then I don't even know if you can remember back then, but season 1, which you're very fond of, their ice scene was scripted to be their first kiss. I was curious if they filmed it that way as well as the way it was filmed.
Which one was that?
So it was season 1, episode 3. The way that it was written in the script, she had her like lip busted instead of her cheek by Aunt Lydia when she like cattle prodded her.
Yes.
And they had their first kiss in that scene in the script. And I was just curious if you remember doing lip busted makeup.
Well, her lip was actually supposed to be, it was more like an interior kind of thing, which on camera never really picked it up. So she would have had a little something. But, and then also the kiss, it was a tricky kind of thing. So
did they film it that way or did they just not because it was too tricky?
It was too tricky.
Yeah.
So we just did the cheek. We just did this where she cattle prodded her.
Yes. That was much more evident.
Yeah. Exactly. Showed up more. It was a little bit more.
Yeah.
how long does it take you to do a bruise, like a real good solid bruise?
Well, you know, the bruise that Lizzie, when she came out of that really tortured, that little box, and she had some bruises on her legs, but on her ankle. So I remember those. I remember being out in her Winnebago in her trailer outside, and it wasn't too cold, I don't think, but quickly doing them, because you know what, nobody really has time to waste. And because Lizzie's one of the executives, she appreciates that I'm quick. So if I need to be really fast, I'm like, sometimes with it really in-depth makeup, I'm like, well, Lizzie, she's like, well, how much time I need? I'm like, well, like an hour and 15. She's like, what can you do in 40 minutes? 45? Like, I said, okay. And there's always little tweaks. So, and she knows I can, and I'll always have that little bit of extra time on camera when she gets into the light. But those bruising there, I did outside. She was sitting in the steps going outside of her trailer. Like quickly, I did them like in 5 minutes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Do you take pictures
Oh yeah.
to compare the next time and then yeah.
Oh yeah, lots of pictures. And I'll take pictures, and then my people on my team, I'll get my key makeup Alistair to take them, because I take, we all take pictures differently, and we all capture things differently. So maybe he'll capture something that I didn't see with how I took them. So I'll compare, and I'll take the best ones out of our bunch. Like there might be 20 of them, and I'll take the best 3.
Did you meet Alistair on this show too? Did you bring him with you?
I've actually known Alistair for maybe 15 years or something.
Oh, nice.
And he's a great guy, and he's super talented. And his path kind of went somewhere else. And then somebody couldn't do after season 2. Somebody had a baby on our show, Talia. So I brought him on to replace her. So
That's awesome.
Really well.
How many people are there on your makeup team?
There's 3 of us in the trailer, 3 makeup and 3 hair. And then I'll have probably 2 to 3 regulars that are in for some of the day players and the extras.
And I guess does Alistair work on, like, you've got the, I guess, main 3, and then he does the next kind of main 3?
Yeah, like, I mean, I did Commander Waterford and Lizzie and Commander Lawrence. He does Serena Joy and Moira, Emily. And my next person down, Taylor, she does Aunt Lydia and OT, and who else is there? So yeah, it's a real mix. And some of the day players that come in that are just in for maybe a day or 2, I might take one of them if I have some extra time. So we just kind of spread them out.
Imagine, do you remember doing the colonies back in, I guess, was it season 2?
Yeah, I remember that. That's a standout. freezing cold. We shot that like an hour north of Toronto, like desolate. Basically, yeah, freezing cold weather. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, was that Marissa Tomei in that episode?
It was.
Yeah.
It was Marissa Tomei. Yeah.
How did you go with doing her makeup?
Well, she was a wife, but she was slowly being poisoned in there.
By Emily, right?
Crazy. So, but the effects of the poisoning, because it was so quick, I think she was just there a very short time before, she died because Emily couldn't wait to get rid of her. But so we didn't really see the effects on her face yet, but it was tricky. But she had a lot of the dirt because she was out working in the soil, and she was great. She was lovely, but it's tricky because she didn't want to necessarily go too far in the dirt. But
how do you make people look like they're basically about to die? What product do you use to make them
What's
look
your death product?
like death?
Deathbed
there was
product?
actually a little pot that it's called Death Flesh, actually, that I used. Gray. It's like a gray. There's no warmth at all. Just everything is gray and sallow, and yeah.
So Ann Dowd let it slip that there will be a season 6 too, huh?
Oh, she did.
She did in an interview last week. 2 interviews last
Oh,
week.
that's so interesting. So I'm glad she let it slip, and not me. But
yeah. I'm not trying to trick you into anything, I promise.
Okay. I like this. I just kind of found that out too. I'm like asking somebody, like, is this a secret? Like, no, it's not a secret anymore. Maybe because
she dropped that.
It was so casual too. We were like, what, did she just say 2 seasons?
Oh yeah. Which I'm quite surprised. I'm surprised. But
I'm surprised
great.
too. Yeah.
I think if anything,
I'm very excited.
I think if anything, it's too bad that we couldn't get them out quicker. It's usually like a year in between each season.
Yeah. You got a pretty good excuse though. And it's amazing that you got, season 4 out. People weren't making show. There are other shows I like that I've not seen since, 2019. They just haven't pulled it together. So are your COVID protocols as like harsh now, or are we kind of like, we got to live with this? And
I think it's going to be the same as last year. So we actually haven't been on set yet.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be any different than it was last year.
It works, right?
Midsummer last year, I was thinking it was going to be better and we'd be able to,
we all went through that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping, but I think it'll be exactly the same.
Here we are.
Exactly. We could take some pictures, when we're not filming without the masks on and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice to have that.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. Maybe the next one will build.
I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I saw somebody on Twitter say, like, you really got to take advantage of that time between variants. You guys should plan your filming in between variants. Your behind the scene photos, which we love so much because you're the only person that gives us that. And it's nice. It's just cool to see how the show is actually made because we have no idea seeing the finished product. And it's just really interesting. So thank you for doing that.
Is everyone shacked up in Canada now then, or do you still await some arrivals?
I think the main players are all here now. Yeah.
So you're just preparing now until you start filming?
We're just preparing, like next week we go into the hair makeup trailer, like it's there kind of waiting. We haven't kind of like put all our stuff in yet. So we'll kind of go there, get all geared up and get ready. And then
we're excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, very excited.
You've been incredible. Like every time you've liked our, shared us or liked us, or it's been so motivational to all of us. And it's so appreciated because we just decided to start this project, a month ago. And it's been fun for us, but it's harder work than we thought, especially for Violet, who does literally all of the editing. I think she spends like full-time job hours on this every week because it turned into 2 episodes when we were planning to do 2 episodes.
Is it getting better? Is it getting easier? And like, is it getting bigger for you guys? Are you enjoying it more? Or is it getting...
We love it.
Yeah. We love it. Yeah. And we've got like a lot.
Better. It's going to get bigger and better.
It's a lot better than we ever expected it would be already. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of work for Violet because she's the only one that she went to film school and she had some editing experience and naively volunteered to do all of the editing.
No, it's fun. I love it.
You're awesome at it, and we appreciate
it's giving
it.
us all something to enjoy during the off season too, like to talk about the show and rewatch it and analyze everything again. So
yeah.
And I think we've gotten people excited about like rewatching it with us, like friends and stuff.
Yeah, I have
So
a lot of random people in my life that are watching it with us. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, you, Burton, it just meant so much to us. So thank you. Because you have no reason to do that. There's nothing, you're not getting anything out of that. You're just a nice person.
Yeah. No, I love when I see something new, people that are interested in something, I like that. No,
Yes, thank you so much for taking all your time and DMing me on Instagram.
Thanks for letting her slide into your DMs.
Yeah.
No, read me anytime. I'm pretty open and I like reading DM. It's all good.
All right. Well,
Yes,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Good luck with season 5.
Yeah.
We know it's gonna be awesome. So enjoy yourself.
I will. Nice to meet you guys.
Keep posting more cat photos.
Yeah.
Yes. Bye, Leo.
Look at that. Taking cat photos. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Burton.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I think about us, the 3 of us, what we could be. I think about it all the time.
Please. It's terrible.
No, it's not. I know Jim. She's my friend. I care about her. How's your day going? You look pretty.
Thanks. I wore it just for you. Her father's a driver named Nick. He helped me to survive. Yes, you can, because I can't lose you.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
What about you?
Your girlfriend is a badass.